Moving on now to that huge verdict against Pacific Power for their role in the fires over the 2020 Labor Day weekend. You may have heard the jury ruled against the company and awarded $73 million to the 17 plaintiffs in the class action lawsuit. The $73 million covered the value of the property lost along with pain and suffering experienced by the folks who sued. On top of that, the jury last week awarded another $18 million in punitive damages against Pacific Power. And that could all just be the beginning. The jury also found that damages should be awarded to a larger class, meaning a bigger group of people. That could include thousands of other wildfire survivors, and that could push the total damages into the billions of dollars. Here's some quick background. The verdict followed a 7-week trial. Plaintiffs sued Pacific Power, arguing they should be held accountable for starting several wildfires during the 2020 Labor Day fires that damaged or destroyed their properties. Pacific Power did not turn off the electricity running through their power lines, and the jury found them at fault. The fires were part of several others that combined created one of the worst natural disasters in Oregon history. And here's an interesting twist in all this. The people involved will likely keep little, if any, of those punitive damages awarded. Now, that's not the actual damages or the pain and suffering. Those are protected. But the punitive damages awarded against the company to punish the company, that's a whole different story. So who gets it? Well, the state of Oregon is going to pocket most of it, and their attorneys will get some as well. And yeah, the IRS, of course, they'll get some. Punitive damages fall under state law ORS 31.735, distribution of punitive damages. 30% is payable to the prevailing party, that's the person who wins, and then they pay their attorney out of that money. 60% is paid to the Attorney General for criminal injuries compensation account of the Justice Crime Victims Assistance section, and another 10% goes to help fund the state court system. But wait, there's more. Then the IRS gets involved. Let's say that of the 30% you get to keep, you had to give 15% to your attorney, meaning now you have 15% left for yourself. Well, the IRS says congratulations, and now that's part of your gross income for that year. That increases your taxes generally, so yes, you'll pay taxes on that punitive amount, and it may be that in the end, you don't keep a dime. One veteran lawmaker in town told me that many lawyers do not mention punitive damages during smaller civil lawsuits because they don't want the jury to think that they can give people a lot of money in punitive damages when in fact most of it gets sucked up by the state. And if you're a Pacific Power customer, you might be worried the company will try to pass these lawsuit losses on to you. Well, naturally, the company says it's not made any decisions on how it could pay. But in a filing with the state's Public Utilities Commission, they're leaving the door open on that possibility. Pacific Corp, the parent company of Pacific Power, submitted a filing last week that asked regulators to defer the costs associated with the lawsuits until a later date. They claim it's a preventative measure for financial stability. If approved, the request would give the company the option to pass the millions of dollars in damages to consumers by raising rates. The company said that the $90 million it currently owes following the lawsuit is the result of, quote, unique and unforeseen circumstances outside the company's reasonable control. The Public Utility Commission will have to decide if Pacific Corp's request is appropriate, and if so, how much money would be allowed to be passed on to customers to pay. A spokesperson for the commission said next steps for the filing have not been determined, and it could take months, maybe even years, to make a decision because the full scope of what Pacific Corp may have to pay in relation to the class action lawsuits, well, that's still not known. Remember, they're on the hook for $90 million right now, but as more people affected by those fires come forward, the damages could go into the billions. Bob Jenks, the executive director of the Oregon Citizens Utility Board, is pushing that state commission to reject the request, sparing customers from having to pick up the court tab. He said, they're asking victims of wildfires to pay for the cost of their negligence. It's fundamentally not customers' responsibility to pay for reckless behavior of utilities. Courts create liability to punish and hold someone accountable. We'll see. We're going to keep you posted on what happens next with Pacific Corp's request.